Hi everyone, Star-Lord is here, and welcome back to another episode of the Hope for Humanity series. Today's topic is going to be on abundance and accumulating wealth and what could be maybe standing in our way of achieving the types of things that we really want to manifest and bring into our lives in terms of finances and abundance and all of those things that it's a very important topic, and I think you're going to enjoy it, so stay tuned. All right, first up, I want to talk to you about some blockages that could be happening in your life. I know I've had to struggle through these and rectify them myself, and a lot of it is our belief system. I've talked before about the subconscious mind and how it kind of rules a lot of things that manifest in our lives. So it's very important to be able to change these types of things and in order to get rid of the blocks, because we can have them. Let's look back to, first of all, our childhood is where it starts. In terms of how we looked at finances could have a lot to do with our parents, the people around us, adults, things that we've heard on television or other people talk about, and that can form the belief systems that begin to grow and affect our lives as we grow up and we get older. And now a lot of people have what they call a poverty mindset. They were raised by people who would say things like, money doesn't grow on trees, we can't afford those things, oh, that's just for the rich people, that kind of stuff. No, you can't have this, no, you can't have that. Due to the fact that, I'm not made of money, that kind of stuff, that sticks in our subconscious mind and can become part of our belief system. And that's really unfortunate, because we all know what we believe in our own head is what eventually will manifest what happens in our real life, our wake life, our adult life, whatever the situation is. We can't manifest from a point and a belief system of poverty. It's very, very difficult. I've seen this happen many, many times. It's even happened with myself in the past, where you kind of keep yourself broke with that type of mindset. Say, for example, you want money because you want to take a trip or you want to buy a car or something like that. So you manage to scrape together the funds to be able to do so. And then you turn around and find yourself constantly in a state of brokenness. The money you manifested for this one item, could have come from any different source, because we really wanted the item more than we wanted anything else. So the item can appear, the money can appear for this item. But in other areas of our life, we could still be lacking. And then sometimes what accompanies that is the feelings of guilt. Well, I shouldn't have gone on that trip, or I shouldn't have bought that car, or I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have done that, because now I'm struggling to make ends meet, to pay my bills, to pay my mortgage, pay my rent, whatever the case may be. So now there's guilt on top of it. So this is where I would suggest changing your belief systems. Now, belief is just a thought we keep thinking over and over again. If you find yourself out loud saying this to other people, saying this to your own children or to the people that you know, that I would love to be able to go on vacation, I would love to be able to do these kinds of things, but I can't afford it. And if you're constantly saying that, even to yourself, this is where consciousness has to come into play. You have to be aware of it. And if that is the case for you, I would suggest trying to change those belief systems. Now, we can't create the abundance that we want from that sort of poverty mindset. Again, I suggest using the either subliminals or the sleep programming, that type of thing, to try and change the original subconscious beliefs in order to be able to manifest all the wonderful things that are actually due you. A lot of people feel that, it's so wild how we have these misconceptions about life and lack and how there isn't enough. There's an overabundance of everything that anyone could possibly need in this universe. It is really and truly available to us. The problem is that a lot of people's stop themselves from obtaining these things because of their own limiting belief systems. If we can get past those limiting belief systems, the world is your oyster. There's nothing you can't create. It's really, really true. I have tried these practices myself and been astonished at some of the results of it. So I absolutely know that, and I've said this many times, I'm no different or no more special than anyone else. I am able to manifest things that I never could before, but I had to get rid of a lot of those limiting belief systems. Yes, affirmations and vision boards and those kinds of things help, because what we think about is what we become ultimately, right? So if you're thinking in terms of abundance and not limiting yourself in any way, and again, have the confidence to go for it and go after the things you want, there's no end to what you can accomplish, and that is an absolute fact of the matter. And I know of what I speak because I'm living proof of someone who has done it, as well as I have met a lot of other people who have done these practices and gotten amazing results as well. So that's one way to do it. Deal with the subconscious, and then be very, very vigilant of your thoughts on a day-to-day basis. Try to think in terms of abundance and not limitations. Try to replace those thoughts of there isn't enough to there is more than enough. And I have the ability to manifest this and to bring it forth into my life. Now, as a tarot reader, I often, when I'm reading the cards, I see energies that are around for people, for different signs. I do the weeklies and monthlies. So I do see the energies that are around people. And then sometimes people will say, hey, that never happened for me. Well, okay, maybe it's not resonating for you, but also too, people need to understand that the energies may be around you, but if you're not stepping into the energies, if you're not making the effort to make those things happen, the energies are there, but you have to step into it in order to actually have the abundance or have the situation, unfold for you. So there's definitely that aspect of it. Another thing I wanted to talk to is a special group of people who are dealing with the spiritual way of life, and that's how you make your living. This is a special category for those of us in the spiritual field. When I first started doing spiritual work, there was a lot of people who said to me, well, this should be free. Again, going back to like churches, when you go in there to pray, you don't have to, pay for this type of thing or the sermons or so forth. But that's not exactly true, because if you think about it, most churches do have put out the collection plate and those types of things, because at the end of the day, nothing is really for free. Everybody has to make a living, even the ministers or the preachers or the rabbis or what have you. If they're doing this on a regular basis, they're human beings and they need resources to live as well as anyone else. So of course there has to be finances involved. If there's no finances involved in terms of donations or things like that, these people cannot be there in order to give the assistance and do this stuff. They would have to be busy doing other jobs in order to make a living. So this is how it works. Unfortunately, this is the way the world is. It's all set up in terms of resources, either through barter or through cash and carry type of deals. We need to, it's part of our system. The economic system is set up that way, that why would anybody think that a tarot reader or a light worker, life coach, these types of yogis, what have you, that they're not having to, eat and pay bills and things like that? Of course they do. So if you want to make a living doing this, there's nothing wrong with accepting cash donations, accepting and charging for your services. It is perfectly normal. A lot of spiritual people do wrestle with that, and I was one of them when I first started my channel. However, I did watch a video here on YouTube that sort of set it straight for me and helped me see things from a different perspective. And then I fully realized that I have a right to, as a spiritual teacher and a tarot reader, to charge for my services, because I am doing this full time, and for a lot of others who are doing it full time, they absolutely have the right to charge for what they do, and don't feel bad about, don't feel guilty, because this is what we do. This is how we are making a living, and we are adding value to people's lives. And so therefore, in any other service, you would expect to be charged. I mean, you wouldn't go to a doctor or a dentist or someone like that and expect to just have them look after your health or your teeth for free, because that's just not the way the economic system is set up. Maybe in a day in the future, a future world, things will be run differently. But as of right now, this is how things are run. So we need to be okay and make our peace with the fact that we are making a living doing what we are doing. And that was another factor, because I know a lot of people who do watch my channel are other spiritual teachers and so forth. And I'm sure I'm interested to hear what you have to say in the comment section below about this, this particular segment of the topic. And then moving on in terms of just creating abundance and finances in your life, I feel it's really important to know, like, again, we've got to know our worth, right? Self-worth is so important. So to know that whatever it is you do in life, know your value. You have to know that you bring value to people. So whatever it is you do, and there is no limitations. I understand the world is changing, and the way that people are making their living is changing. And there is an abundance of ways to make money nowadays that weren't even available years ago, so much as even 10, 15 years ago. So a lot of people are finding careers now online, here on YouTube and on the internet in general, in terms of, you know, buying and selling and that type of thing. There is no shortage here, and there's more than enough. A lot of people say that I don't want to go into this field or that field because there's too much competition. Yes, there is competition, but you have to remember, not everybody is interested in the same thing. Not everyone wants the same thing. A lot of people have a severe interest in something that's really obscure, like say bonsai, you know, creating bonsais and so forth. Maybe it's a little bit of an obscure topic, but there's a huge channel right here on YouTube. It's all about bonsais. I know, I actually subscribe to the channel. I find it interesting. And things like that. So there's a lot, no matter what it is you do. The main thing is to love what you do. And if you're in a job that you're just in it to make money, but it's really, really detrimental to you, it's almost even toxic, I suggest you find other ways in order to make a living, because when we do what we love, believe it or not, that's where a lot of abundance can come in. And especially if you're doing something that is of value to other people that really, really enjoy what you do. And people will enjoy what you do as long as you enjoy it. Because remember, like attracts like, right? The power of bringing a vibration of an energy in towards you, it has to match. So if we're loving what we do, the people out there that are dealing with you in business or watching your YouTube channel, if you have one, those are people who are matched with you. They love what you do, you love what you do, and it's a give and take, and it's a beautiful exchange of energy. Now, remember, everything is energy. We are all energy, and so is money is also energy. So, and this is another matter too. Remember that your point of power is in the here and now. So it's not about saying that I want abundance and I want to have a good paying job and so forth in the future. You're creating your future here and now. So this is the time to start. You got to start in this moment. And if that means going into meditation, changing belief systems, using whatever it is that you're using as a tool, whether it's subliminals or sleep programming or what have you, affirmations on a regular basis, these kinds of things all help. But remember, they're all tools. You have to feel deep down inside of you joy for what you have already and appreciation. That's another big thing. When you look in your bank, and instead of looking at your bank account, say it's a balance of $200, If you say that, oh, I only have $200, that's no, I can't afford to pay everything I need to pay. Instead, look at that and appreciate the 200 that is in there, and imagine all the things you can buy. You can buy a lot of things with $200. It may not be the big abundance in the moment, but as long as we appreciate what is there, that little amount will start to grow and start to grow and start to grow. And it's all about our mindset, our belief system, and our perspective. So once you start changing that perspective, and this works in all aspects of life, and I know this topic is so intense because so many people, their lives revolve around a situation of money, either not having enough money to do the things they want to do. Some people are completely broke and have no job and have no prospects. So this is why I'm doing this video, because whatever situation you're in, whatever level you're at with your finances, you can always bring it up a notch. Remember, your point of power, though, is in the here and now. It's right here. And we become what we think about all day long. So if you're thinking in terms of poverty and I don't have enough, then you're always going to be struggling, no matter, even if you do end up getting an extra few dollars, you're always going to find a way to keep yourself broke. I have a particular friend I've had for many years, and no matter what happens throughout her life where she's had abundance that comes into it, she always finds a way to keep herself broke. She always ends up in the same situation a few months later, because this is what she talks about all the time. This is how she feels about, and that's her relationship to money. And so therefore, again, you create your own reality by what you're thinking and what you're feeling all the time. Now, to feel abundant and feel gratitude and appreciation is a wonderful, wonderful feeling. I myself make sure that I stock my shelves with groceries and things like that whenever I have the cash in my account, and I make sure that I always see abundance in my cupboard, and it doesn't have to be full right to the point of excess, but make sure that you're seeing abundance around you. And when you look at it, when I open my cupboards and I see all the choices and different decisions I can make for my lunch or something like that, I feel very much grateful and a lot of gratitude towards the fact that it's there. And every time I look in my bank account and I imagine what I could buy with the money that's in there, it doesn't matter if it's 200 or 2,000. I just like to imagine what I could, and how it feels so good. The feeling of gratitude, the attitude of gratitude is so different from looking at the same situation from a different perspective, which is from the poverty mindset and from the not having enough. That type of attitude will always keep you in that situation. Even if you do get an abundance where a large sum of money comes from a tax refund or an inheritance or something like that, you'll still find a way to spend all that money and keep yourself in that same situation. I've seen it time and time again. I was in that trap even myself a few years back. But life can change, but it all has to change with you. It begins with you. It's going to end with you. Remember, please take my words seriously and try and work. I know it's not easy, but nothing that comes into life is that easy. We do have to put in the work, although this is not the kind of work I'm talking about where it's an intensive labor work. I'm talking about putting in the work to ourselves, changing belief systems, gaining confidence in ourselves, all of the things that I've been talking about throughout this series at Hope for Humanity. If you really think about it and maybe try and switch your perspective to something more positive and more uplifting, you'll find, just as well as I did, that it will make a difference, a huge difference. And every day it'll get better, every week, every month, and every year. And then you'll look back 5 years from now and say, wow, like, what a big difference. My life has finally taken that turn. And I wish you all the best, and I hope that all of us going forward with this journey, that we all find our way in terms of making our lives better and making the lives of the people around us better. So namaste, much abundance to you, much love. Star Lord is signing off. Bye-bye.